I am with Sean Sublette. He's interviewing with Virginia Scope today. He just announced today that he is running for Congress in Virginia's first congressional district, where Rob Wittman is currently the representative. Thanks for talking to me today.
Brandon, thanks for the invitation. Appreciate it very much.
Of course, of course. So let's get right into it. Why are you
Yeah.
running?
I'm running to affect change. I think is the base, right? I mean, I think we see an opportunity to affect change. We've seen how costs are going up. For example, just my bag of coffee went up $3 over the weekend. Healthcare is a mess. People don't know what they're paying when they go see their doctor. There is this mess of conspiracy theories that's running around in the Congress right now, and I'm a scientist, and that kind of gets at me at a deep level, and just oversight. I don't feel like the Congress is doing its constitutional duty either. So a number of reasons why to do this and why to do that now, but top of mind is costs. Everybody is hurting financially, and the tariffs are here, the tariffs are there. We don't know. Businesses don't know how to plan, and that's frustrating. And I think every one of us has gotten some kind of healthcare bill that they don't understand. And I'm not going to come in and fix healthcare all by myself, but we need to go look at the data. And as a scientist, I want to look at the data, bring in some real professionals and see what we can do to move the needle and get better outcomes for everybody.
All right, so you mentioned you're a scientist. Can you give us a little bit of your history and what
Yeah.
you've done?
Yeah. So I was born and raised here in Central Virginia. Born in Richmond, was in South Richmond until I was about 10 years old. And mom moved us out to Henrico County. I was a single mom for a while before being a single mother was socially acceptable. So that was a bit of a challenge for her. But we scraped up enough money to send me off to college. I mean, my father, he made cigarettes at Philip Morris, and my stepfather was a union millwright, 1402. So we have a good foundation of hard work getting you where you need to go. We put the money together. I went off to Penn State and graduated from there, stuck around, got my master's, and very briefly wrote code at Goddard Space Flight Center up at NASA in suburban Maryland, but did not like the Capital Beltway an awful lot even then. So I had an opportunity to go down to Roanoke and start doing television weather there. A colleague of mine took a new job there as the chief meteorologist at the NBC station in Roanoke, and they said, they need a weekend guy or gal. So I applied, got it, and for the next 20 years, basically, I did TV weather in the Roanoke Lynchburg television market. So about half of the time was at the NBC station, Channel 10 in Roanoke, and about the other time was at WSCT, Channel 13 in Lynchburg, and learned so much about connecting with people, listening to people, understanding where people are, learning how to talk to people in different kinds of backgrounds, whether they are rural, urban, suburban, whether they're baby boomers, more recently, whether they're Gen Z, and trying to understand the needs of people. And my job was basically to take complex information, weather, and distill it into a way that people could take action on it. And one of the things I'm most proud of is that how far our science has come, meteorology over the past 30 years. It's far more accurate than when I was coming through as an undergraduate. But I've always loved science, earth science, space science, meteorology. That's always kind of been my thing.
So, using that background, how would you take it into governing? Like, would climate change be a key part of your platform?
No question, climate is a key part of this platform. I do understand that right now it might not be at the top of everybody's list, but it is not going away. I mean, we need to get costs down. We need to get better healthcare outcomes top of mind. But so that's short term. But we also do have to think long term. Ever since I've been a kid, I've heard of Congress kicking things down the road. They kick the can down the road. They kick the can down the road. And I'm just kind of tired of that. So let's go find some real professionals who are true experts in their fields, and let's get the data out there and get some better outcomes to get the cost down and to get better healthcare outcomes. Get the data, get the evidence, right? There's so much of this conspiracy theory stuff that has run rampant over the last 6 months in particular. And I want to get beyond that, get the data and evidence, and come to some better impacts, some better solutions with the real data that's out there.
There's a lot of Democrats seeking this nomination already, and there's still a ton of time until primary. It's almost a year away, with 10 months.
Yeah,
So tell me what separates you from other Democrats. You don't, I'm not asking you to trash any Democrats, just
no.
why should Democrats vote for you to be the nominee?
Yeah, they're all good people. I've read their platforms and I've talked to some of them directly. They're all good people. They really are. The question I have is like, who do you want to go into this fight? Who is going to talk about climate better? I have a background in science and meteorology. We have seen what has happened to science in this country as well. And I have a front row seat to science in this country. My worry, and again, this is the long-term issue, right? Is that what we're seeing to the National Institutes of Health, National Science Foundation, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which is the parent agency of the National Weather Service. These are all long-term scientific enterprises that have borne fruit for us here in the United States over the last 30 or 40 years, basically since World War II. And I'm really worried that we're going to be giving away our future of innovation and technology, frankly, to China. So who can we send as Democrats who has a front row seat to the scientific process in addition to carrying the banner for our economic policies? So that's why I would argue I'm probably the best person for this position in this time.
What do you think of the job Rod Whitman has done in his long time in Congress at this point? What would you do different? You've already said some of that. You don't have to repeat it. But overall, what do you think
Mm,
of Whitman?
I'm very disappointed. That's probably the most tactful way I can put it. Unlike a lot of his constituents, I've sent repeated correspondence to his office, and we get kind of the same talking points over and over again. After he voted for the bill, um, right after around the 4th of July, you see him answer questions, and we ask, like, isn't this giving money to billionaires? It's like, well, we're cutting taxes for everybody. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm like, what we have seen over the past 40 years is a massive, massive divergence in income, right? The rich are getting phenomenally richer, and the people at the bottom end are not making any progress. And I'm no socialist. I started my own small business a year ago. But we need to put people in the Congress that are going to work for working families. I'm a Democrat because I've always valued labor. You know, capital is important, but we also need to value labor. And I know that Wittman likes to talk about his environmental aspects, but the League of Conservation Voters gave him a 9% score out of 100 on his policies. So I'm very disappointed, to say the least, and that's why I think it is time for a change.
All right, so this sometimes ends up being the hardest question I ask everyone. But tell me something unique about you. Like, what do you do on the weekends or in the evenings? A hobby, just something about you specifically that has nothing to do with politics or anything.
I love a good road trip. I love just to go walking in the woods and in nature. I want to be on the water more than I have been. I mean, I love being in a kayak. Frankly, I haven't done it in a while because I've been busy, but I genuinely enjoy the outdoors. There is nothing more therapeutic than taking my dog and walking through the woods for 20 or 30 minutes over here at Robius Landing or perhaps over at Rockwood. I love going to fairs. I love going to farmers markets. We have the Latino market here every Saturday. Love going there. Love the music. Love the people. I just love being outside as a meteorologist. And yeah, you might guess I'm a weather guy. I'm a little geeky. I love Star Trek. Not gonna shy away from that. But I've always liked science. I've always liked astronomy, like a lot of meteorologists do. But just being outside and having a greater respect for the outdoors than I probably had when I was younger.
All right, Sean Sublette, running for Virginia's first congressional district Democratic nomination. I appreciate your time.
Brandon, thank you so much, man.